Hi, I'm Trevor Sherman, and this is an introduction into the mixed martial arts. Basically, if somebody tries to take you down, there's two different ways. You know, if they try to get the body clench, but they don't control their head, they don't keep it up high enough. If they keep it above your belly button to underneath your armpits, we can put them in what's called a guillotine. The guillotine is basically forcing their head off to one side, wrapping your arm around their neck, and go all the way around the bicep to one side of their neck. This is your radial bone is up underneath their throat, and up around the other side. And then I want to lock my hand in. I want to lock in that guillotine. Now to execute a choke, all I have to do is lower my hips a little bit and drive forward. Okay? I don't want to spend a lot of time squeezing. That's going to fatigue me. As long as they can breathe and they can get their chin anywhere around my arm, they'll probably be able to breathe, and they'll be able to, you know, outlast me by my squeezing. What I want to do is I want to drive forward and get them to submit. And that's the guillotine. The other way to stifle that is called a sprawl. Freddie, come here a second before we get into that. So basically, the guillotine, if he's coming into me, I want to force his head off to one side, my arm wraps around his neck. I want to establish that, lock, and then drive with my hips, and that's my guillotine choke. I want to try to control his shoulders. We're going to get into stratum 3 where we work into knees and so forth, but this time as he comes in to grab me, I'm going to force his head off to one side underneath my armpit. And as I do that, I'm going to wrap my arm around his neck, I'm going to clasp my hand, I'm going to lock in around his neck, and I'm going to force and push forward. I'm going to push my hips into him and walk up. Okay, and that's the guillotine choke. Now without Fred, I'm going to have him stay right here. I'm going to push his head in my armpit, either armpit. Let's say it was on this side this time. I push his head in the armpit, come around his neck. I come up underneath his neck so that the radial bone of my arm is right up underneath his neck. I grab my hand, I lock in. I want to tighten that bicep, lock in. I want to push with my hips so that it kind of collapses his chin into his own neck. And I want to walk forward. I want to lift and push. I don't want to sit there and stand up. I want to lower his body and then buckle it. Okay? Now from this angle here, as he comes in, I want to push his head to my, and this, once again, his head's going to be here. If it's up here, I don't want to try to bring it down. It's if his head is coming in here like he's trying to tackle me. I want to come in, push his head to my waist, to my armpit. Now come around his neck. Now instead of like trying to lift up all day, I want to lower his body and drive his chin. That's the key. If you lift, you can stay here all day long, right? All I want to do is lock this in, lower my hips, and then drive forward. Now, if I've got a ring or a cage I can walk him up against, because if he keeps backing up, he could probably keep that airflow, but I want to lock him into that.